Hey guys, thank you so much for being here, and I really do hope you're doing well. It is a glorious day here in the United Kingdom, and it's still winter, so any bit of sun really does help, although I am still feeling the chill. I haven't got any gloves on, so my fingers are getting cold pretty fast, as is my face. Today I want to talk to you about this. It's the ESEE-4 knife. I'll pop up some specs on screen, sort of over there somewhere. There we go. You can see the specs for the knife there. This was actually a kind gift given to me by Forrest Walker 111. I took part in a competition of his, and while this wasn't a prize in the competition, he enjoyed my video so much, which included my contest video included my knife at the time, which was a Brook Light Max, which didn't have a massive blade, but it's a very useful knife for bushcraft. And he thought I could do with a bigger knife. Obviously with the Brook Branding. The Brook Branding is orange and green, and here we have green coating on the actual knife blade and the orange on the handle. I've been using this now for a number of weeks, and it's excellent. I think it's a phenomenal knife, but let me tell you why I think it's good, and I'll also tell you a downside to using this knife a bit later on. For a start, it's a heavy knife. This is not your Mora bushcraft knife. This is not a light knife. This has got some serious weight to it, which makes it great for batoning. Now, my previous knife, the Brook knife, it wasn't necessarily great for batoning because it didn't have too much weight, so you really had to swing into it. So even if you kind of push down with the knife on this end and you were batoning on this end, you would always end up with the knife like this. Now, because of the weight of this, placing down the weight on both sides while you're batoning, it's a breeze. It is absolutely a dream to use. It's wonderful. The knife actually keeps its edge extremely well. Other than stropping it in between sort of going out and doing a bit of bushcraft with the knife, it doesn't really need much more upkeep. It is very sharp out of the box, out of the box when I received it. Obviously, it's had been previously loved by Forrest Walker 111 by Craig. But it is a lovely sharp edge. Ow, I just took off a bit of my fingerprint by rubbing that there. I don't know if the camera will pick up on the edge. There we go, it has that Scandi grind on it. It does have a slightly curved back. It's not quite a right angle, so you can't use this with your ferro rod. There is a bit of gimping on the back here. Again, hopefully you can see this. The choil, it's not sharp in the choil, so you can actually put your finger in the choil for closer work. There is a stopper area here, so it does catch your finger there to keep your finger away from the blade, but if for whatever reason you wanted better leverage, your finger can go into that choil. Other things that I want to talk to you about with the knife are the sheath. The sheath is a Kydex sheath. Clicks in, and when that clicks in, that does not come out. I'm telling you now, it doesn't come out unless you pull it hard. So you don't have to worry about this dropping out, and of course, because of the screw rivets here, you can tighten it and loosen it to your own personal preference, but that is pretty solid. You do have to, there we go, push it to get it out, so it's not just going to randomly fall out while you're carrying it. The other thing that I've done is I've attached a tech lock on the back here. Now with the ESEE-4, the tech lock only fits in on 2 contact points up here onto the sheath, and that does mean that you have to have the knife sideways on your person. So as you wear it on your belt, it sits like this. Let me stand up for a second. It sits like this on your belt, but I actually quite like that because it means you can draw it nice and easily and place it back with ease. No up and down motion. I do quite like that across body movement. The tech locks are phenomenal in and of themselves, but I think I might talk about those separately in another review. Essentially, this part collapses over your belt, locks in place, and to unlock it you need to push the sides, and the locking mechanism, there is a small bit here that folds up and in place that prevents those from being squeezed, so it can't come undone. It sits lovely on the belt. The other thing that I've added is a paracord lanyard. Now, the lanyard, I like to do this with most of my knives. The lanyard for this is not meant to go around your wrist to stop the knife from falling if you drop it or if you lose grip. It's actually to be used like this, so placed on top of the knife and then grabbing like that, and then my hands literally cannot move even past up to the choil, so there's no chance that you're going to slip while cutting and hurt your fingers, because if you slip, as you saw just before, just even slightly stroking it, I took a bit of my fingerprint off. I felt a fine layer of skin coming off there, so you don't want to be slipping with this, so the lanyard really does help. And of course, a bit of paracord always helps in an emergency if you need it, because it can be used for various things, even including fire lighting. If you're able to set fire to it, it will act as a flame extender. The grip on the knife, I think, is very nice. It holds very, very well and very sturdy. Feathering with the knife, again, very easy because of the good solid nature of the grip and the weight of the knife and the sharpness of the actual blade itself. There is a downside. The downside is that as you see here, the green bit is the blade, because it's full tang from tip right down to here. Oh, I've just dropped my microphone pack. Let me just pick that up. Make sure we're still recording. Hopefully you're still getting sound. Yes, you are. The blade actually is exposed here on the handle, which is great because it means that you can actually change the parts of the handle here. The downside being that as it's winter, what I've really noticed is that it gets your hand very cold very quickly. If I'm holding this, both the underside and but inside of my hand, both the top side of the knife and the underside of the knife are actually taking heat away from my hands, and I have noticed a considerable drop in temperature when using it. I do tend to use gloves when I'm out using knives in the bush and woodland area anyway, just simply to protect my hands from minor abrasions, because I use my hands in my work quite often, and I need to keep, with my presenting work, I need to keep a good standard of presentation, physical presentation anyway. So having dirty, grubby hands or hands with cuts and stuff is not something that I have for my work, so I do use gloves, so it's not too much of an issue. It is a downside, and it's something to think about if you're in colder climates, because if you were to touch it with your skin and it had gone to a sub-zero temperature, it's going to be sticking to you. Again, if you're bare hand in a sub-zero temperature, you need to ask yourself some other questions instead, but these are just things to bear in mind. Overall though, very impressed, and I can't wait to road test it even more. What I've found as well, just because of the weight of the knife, things that I used to have to get my machete out for and just whack down, you can actually baton through with your knife. Not necessarily hack with the knife, but you can place the knife onto a thicker branch and baton through it, whereas I wasn't able to do that with my previous knife and would always have to get my machete out. Again, not a massive deal, but if you can use one tool instead of two, why not use one tool and have some economy of motion there. Guys, I think that's all I can say about the ESEE-4. I really like it as a knife. I think it's going to serve me very well, and I once again thank Craig, aka Forrest Walker 111, for his kind and generous gift sent all the way from Canada, and I really do appreciate and like the feeling of passing on a knife and sharing in the same experience of myself and of course Craig previously using that knife and me using this knife. And if at some point I ever decide that another knife is for me, I would love to pass this on to someone else and have that lineage of usage with the knife. Call me corny if you will. Okay guys, thank you so much as always for being here. Do remember, if you're not subscribed, do subscribe, and it always really does help if you like the video, and a comment is always welcome, even if it's just thanks for making the video or taking the time to make the video. Until next time, take care my friends, bye bye now.